guys, DeathMog91 here. So I'm here for part 2 for lightsworn, how to make the deck. So, as you can see, I've got almost 60 spell cards. Some of them are banned, yes. Some are limited. The banned I'm only going over because of back in the day, like Cold Wave, and more recently we're saying Giant Trunade. That was just recently. That was just last format. But you could see that in the deck a few formats ago. We had Dark Brain Control with also Cold Wave. This card hasn't been legal in years, but it still owns. Okay, so I'm gonna be serious. Okay, Soul Recharge. You discard one lightsworn monster to draw 2 cards and send the top 2 cards of your deck to the graveyard. That's a must to run a lightsworn. No ifs, ands, or buts. If you run a lightsworn, you're running 3 copies of that. Also, I'm going to get rid of the cards as I come up to, like, if you're not going to have them in the deck. You could, but you probably wouldn't. Noble Mana Crossout. Destroy one face-down monster and remove from play. If it's a flip effect monster, both players must remove from play all monsters from the deck with the same name and destroy that monster. Okay. So, Noble Mana Crossup. I'm putting it inside because more than likely you're not gonna want to main deck it just because there's no point to main deck in that. It's a side deck card. That's it. A Winged Beat of a Giant Dragon. Return one face-up level 5 or higher dragon-type monster you control to the owner's hand, and destroy all spell and trap cards. This is good. You can use it with JD, but with this card, why wouldn't you just pay the 1,000 life points for JD unless you don't have it? But I have never actually seen anybody use this card with lightsworn. But that doesn't mean it's not possible. There's a few other cards it works with, but for the most part, you're not going to run that card in lightsworn. Next card, A Feather of the Phoenix. Discard one card to select one card from your graveyard and return it to the top of your deck. Really good. It's a setup card when you're in a bad position. Let's say you have like a Necro Gardener in your graveyard, and you have and you have like no monsters, and your opponent has one monster, and you have like a JD in the graveyard, and you can get it out next turn if you get it. So you go Feather of Phoenix. Oh, I set up for JD. I'm good to go next turn, and possibly win the game. So, but Feather of Phoenix, you're not gonna run. There are better cards. Allure of Darkness. Draw 2 cards, then remove from play 1 dark monster from your hand. If you don't have any dark monsters in your hand to remove, send all cards from your hand to the graveyard. Allure is kind of risky because if you don't draw into a dark monster when you're playing Twilight, well, actually it's good and bad, but you just lose your whole hand. So when you play that, you want to make sure you have a dark in your hand already. So yeah. Allure, I'll keep that down there just because you can play that. That's one of the more popular cards when you're playing Twilight. Advanced Draw. Tribute 1 level 8 or higher monster you control and draw 2 cards. That's good, but really, why would you ever get rid of your JD, your Dark Armed, or Time Ward or something to draw 2 cards? So you're not going to run that. Book of Moon. Oh yeah, guys. Of course, this isn't all the cards you could be going through. This is just this is quite a bit of a selection. Okay, Book of Moon. Everybody should know this card. Flip one face-down monster you control, face-up monster on the field, into the graveyard to defense position. The one thing I have never been sure about. Actually, no, I know. You can't flip it during your turn. Same turn you activate Book of Moon. That would have been too broken. Book of Moon, I'm moving down here because You could run that, but not necessarily. Burden of the Mighty. Each face-up monster you control, each face-up monster your opponent controls loses 100 attack for their own level. It's good, but this is an anti-meta build where you just like, oh, yeah, okay, so your monster's weaker now, you can't kill my monsters. It's just basically a fuck you in the face. So, I'm gonna say no on running that. Brain control. Obviously, we can't run this because this card is not legal, but back in the day when it was, or if it ever comes back, and it is legal, hell yeah, you run this card. Pay 800 life points, select one face-up monster you control, your opponent controls, and take control of it till the end of the turn. This card beats out Mind Control in a heartbeat because you can attack, you can Secret Summon, you can tribute it. It's just all around a better card. For 800 measly life points. Burial from a different dimension. You run this card. Select up to 3 monsters in your, that have been removed from play and return them to the owner's graveyard. With my current build, yes, but this is this is up to you. I personally really like running it, getting back my Necrogardnas, getting Black Pike Spreader, and then whatever else I need to get back that gets removed. I've been finding lately it's been really helpful. So I'm going to leave that in there. Card destruction. Each player discards their entire hand and draws the same number of cards they discarded. This card can be so good and so bad. You can go from having a bad hand to even a worse hand, which is very unlikely, but you can also go from having a bad hand to a great hand. I would say up till we get the Dark World shit, you can run it. Once we get Dark World shit, that card is gone. Okay, cards from the sky. Remove from play 1 light fairy type monster in your hand. Draw 2 cards. You cannot special summon or conduct your battle phase during the same turn this is activated. That is a Christia build where you're running quite a bit of fairies, and that Agent Sworn deck, which was stupid. But yeah, I would say no for the most part, just because there's really no need to run it unless you're running those 2 builds, which I'm not going to go over for the most part. Charge of the Light Brigade. This card fits into so many decks. Send the top 3 cards of your deck to the graveyard. Add 1 level 4 monster, level 4 or lower lightsworn monster from your deck to your hand. Such a great. I mean, you get a mill, and then you get to add a Raikou Lumina or whatever the fuck you need to add. That's a must. These 2 are a must. What I'm putting down here is like, it's up to you, but you can. Okay, Cold Wave. You can activate this during the start of your main phase. Until your next turn, you and your opponent cannot play or set any spells or trap cards. Back when this was legal, you ran it, just because you don't have to worry about any spell or trap cards getting activated. Oh, I special summon JD. First I play Cold Wave, then I special summon JD. Then it's like, oh shit. Well, Cold Wave to activate it, unless they have Effect Veiler, they're fucked. Okay, this card can be a lot of fun. Creature Swap. Its name says what it does. Each player selects 1 monster they control and switch control of that monster to each other. Those monsters cannot change the battle position for the rest of this turn. So, Creature Swap. Let's say you just flipped Raikou and they've still got a monster on the field. Oh, I play Creature Swap. Bam! You just got Creature Swapped and you get attack. Raikou is still, it's another target in your graveyard and you get something bigger. But that's a maybe card. Okay, cost down. discard one card from your hand, reduce all monster cards in your hand by 2 levels until the end phase of this turn. Cost down's good for exceed summons. I said exceedy summons. Exceed summons when you don't want a tribute for your bigger monsters, but you're not going to use that card because it's just not worth it. I mean, you have to discard a card to have them go down by 2 levels. There's better cards for that. So cost down is a no. Dark Hole. Destroy all monsters on the field. I don't think I need to explain that any farther. If you really want to know how Dark Hole works, please feel free to comment on that. I would love to hear that. Okay, Dark World Dealing. Each player draws a card, then discards a card. This card, only reason why you could ever see it in a lightsworn deck is more of a Twilight build, because of the fact that you can draw then just discard and get rid of something more annoying. But you're not going to want to run that when Dark World comes, because Dark World's going to be pretty beastly. Okay. This is the other card that, if it was legal, you'd rather run over. Well, you can go back and forth in between Burial from a different dimension and Dimension Fusion. Pay 2,000 life points. Both players special summon as many removed from play monsters as possible. So you could, if you're playing against removal, this can be very nice. But yeah, since the card's not legal, you can't use it. Okay, double summon. You can normal summon one additional monster this turn. You can only gain this effect once per turn. So double summon, you basically get to summon 2 level 4 or lower monsters, or you can summon a 1 level 4 then tribute for like level 5 or 6. That's how, or 7 or 8 if you already had another one on the field. That's how that works. But you're not gonna run it. Foolish Burial. Personally, I've actually stopped running this card. Send 1 monster card from your deck to your graveyard. This card, you only run it, if you're not running Wolf and Lightsworn, you don't run this card. Yes, it can get you the 5th or 4th Lightsworn monster, or 3rd for Darkon, or it can get you Necrogardna or something. I get that. I just don't like running Lightsworn just because it always seems to be a dead draw for me. Because when I either I'll mill it, or when I do draw it, I'll have like 2 cards in my deck and it's like, fuck, I'm not playing that. Okay, so that's a maybe. That's up to you. Okay, Forbidden Chalice. 1 face-up monster on the field gains 400 attacks, but its effects are negated until end phase. So with this, you can either negate your opponent's effect, or if you're down to like a few cards in your deck and you don't want to mill, I'm pretty sure that this would work, where you activate that. Oh, okay, you don't mill because of that, but you might still. I'm gonna leave that up to you. That's something you just don't see in Lightsworn decks, but that doesn't mean it can't be played in Lightsworn decks. Forbidden Land, select 1 face-up monster on the field up till the end phase. It loses 800 attacks, but it's unaffected by spells or other spells or traps. That's good, but it's the same thing with Forbidden Chalice. You're not going to see either one played in the deck. Okay, this is for control build. Destroy 1 face-up monster your opponent controls that has the lowest attack points. If it's a tie, you get to choose. People, you can still see this card being played with it, with Lightsworn. It's more of a control build where your opponent can't do shit. But for the most part, no. Okay, Fragment agreed. I've yet to start playtesting with this, and I'm going to be starting pretty soon, because this effect actually is really good. Place 1 greed counter on this card. I hate doing that. When you normally draw, when this card has 2 or more greed counters, you can send this card to the graveyard to draw 2 cards. So you keep it on the field for 2 turns, which is pretty easy. And then you get to draw 2. I mean, it's a good filler card if you need that. But besides that, I'm going to put that as a maybe. I have yet to start playtesting with that, and I actually want to playtest with that. Okay, Giant Trunade. I'm going to move Heavy Storm over too, just because I'm going to have to talk about both these cards. Okay, last format you saw Giant Trunade. Return all spells and trap cards on the field to the owner's hand. Heavy Storm was destroy all spell trap cards on the field. Whichever one is legal at the time, you run either one. So yeah, since Giant Trunade got banned, we run Heavy Storm. If Heavy Storm got banned and Giant Trunade came back, we'd run Giant Trunade. Vice versa. They work with each other. They work together. Back when both were legal, that was great. Okay, Gold Stark. Select and remove from play one card in your deck during the second standby phase. After this card is activated, add the remove from play card to hand. Gold Stark is good, but I feel it slows down lightsworn, personally. I've played with it before quite a bit. Like, I would usually get JD or Lumina or maybe Charge, depending on the situation. But it just felt like the deck was slowed down more than needed to be. I mean, because I could easily have gotten JD out like a lot sooner most of the time. So that's kind of where I'm at. That's gonna be a maybe, just because I feel like it is a good card, but it can kind of slow you down. That's personal preference. Graceful Charity. Draw 3 cards and discard 2. Hell, that was a +1 right there, because you get to add. Basically, you're just adding 1 card to your hand, and when we go from there, the only reason why you'd run Graceful Charity and lightsworn, because you draw 3 cards, then you get to choose 2 cards in your hand. Let's say you draw into double JD, even triple JD, and you have only 2 targets in your graveyard, and you have 2 lightsworn monsters in your graveyard. It's like, oh, no brainer. Get rid of the lightsworns, get JD out. But because this card is banned, thank God, because of Dark World coming back, you're not going to use it anymore. You wouldn't use it, but if it ever does come back, I would say use it, because it doesn't hurt you. Your opponent doesn't get the effect, which is good. Okay, next card. Harpy's Feather Duster. Only reason why this is in is if this card ever, and I mean ever, comes back, you run it. Destroy all your opponent's spells and trap cards on the field. Simple as that. Your opponent has like 3 or 4 back rows. Oh, I draw Harpy's Feather Duster. Activate it. There's 2 versions of this card. Well, it's just 2 different alternate artworks. So yeah. But because it's not legal, you don't run it. But if it was, hell yeah, every deck, it would run it. Hammer Shot. Destroy 1 face-up attack position monster that has the highest attack. If it's a tie, you get to choose. It's like Fissure, but better, because you get rid of the bigger monsters. So that's just more of a control build. I'm going to say no. Hand Destruction. Each player sends 2 cards from their hand to the graveyard and draw 2. Your opponent and you both have to have 2 cards in hand. It's good and bad, because if you don't have it, if they don't have 2 or you don't have 2, it's a dead card. Simple as that. I would say don't run it. Lightsworn Saber. Equipped to a Lightsworn monster, it gains 700 attack when this card is sent from the deck to your graveyard. You can equip it to 1 Lightsworn monster you control. I ran this card back in the day. It was a lot of fun. I mean, you can boost basically any Lightsworn monster, excluding like Ryko and Lumina, up to like 2,000 plus. This card, I'm gonna tell you, it's a maybe run. It's good, but it can get into some pretty interesting situations. Oh, god damn it. Okay, I'll be back in a second.